Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from howtobecome.com and welcome to this job interview training video where I'm going to teach you how to pass your State Farm interview. If you have a State Farm interview coming up, stay tuned because I'm going to cover the most common State Farm style interview questions, explain why they are being asked, and give you top scoring sample answers that you can use in your own preparation. Now, during this video, I'll also be using my State Farm style interview questions and answers pack, which you can download straight after watching. This contains 25 interview questions with sample answers to help you prepare for every stage of the hiring process. Now, before we get into the training, please do two things. Firstly, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really motivates me to keep creating free content for you, and I upload brand new interview training videos every week because I want to help you succeed. And secondly, let me know the name of the job role you are applying for in that comment section below the video. I reply to all comments with extra tips and questions to help you prepare. Okay, let's get started with the most common State Farm style interview questions and my brilliant answers. The very first question you'll be asked in your State Farm interview is likely to be, tell me about yourself or introduce yourself. Now, most candidates get this wrong. They either talk for way too long or they go into irrelevant details about their personal life that don't actually help them get the job. The interview panel isn't interested in your entire life story. What they want is a short, confident answer that proves you have the skills, qualities, and motivation to work for State Farm. Here's a really simple way to remember what to include in your interview introduction. It's called the SEAT method, S-E-A-T, and it stands for this. You start your answer off with S for skills. You mention your skills that match the job description. You then talk about your experience or your education if you're just starting out. You then move on to an achievement you're proud of, and you conclude by telling them the type of person you are and what you'll bring to State Farm. Think of it this way. When you walk into your interview, you'll be sitting on a seat, and that's the structure you should use for your answer. Now, let me give you a top scoring example that you can use to create your own version. Here we go. Thank you for this opportunity. I would describe myself as a driven, reliable, and customer-focused person. I have strong communication skills. I work well as part of a team, and I always stay organized and calm under pressure. In my previous role, I gained experience handling customer inquiries and resolving issues quickly and professionally. I learned how important it is to listen carefully, explain things clearly, and make sure every customer feels valued. One of my proudest achievements was being recognized by my manager for improving our response times and consistently receiving positive feedback from customers. I am the type of person who takes pride in doing a good job, who will always represent State Farm in a professional way, and who will go the extra mile to help both customers and colleagues. That answer is clear, structured, and gives the interviewer confidence that you'll be a great fit for the role. State Farm style question number 2 is, why do you want to work for State Farm? Now, this is a very common question, and it's one that many candidates get wrong. They give a vague answer like, I need a job, or I like insurance. That will not impress the hiring manager. What State Farm really wants to see is that you understand what the company stands for, that you've done your research, and that you're motivated by the right reasons, not just money. Now, one of the smartest things that you can do is to connect your answer to State Farm's reputation, values, and mission. State Farm is known for being customer focused, offering reliability and trust, and for being where people need them most. If you can show that you value those things too, you'll come across as someone who's a natural fit for the company. Here is how to structure your answer to this question. Firstly, start with the respect you have for State Farm as a brand. Secondly, talk about how their values align with yours. And thirdly, end your answer by saying what you'll bring to the role. Here is a great example answer doing just that. I want to work for State Farm because I admire your reputation for being a company people rely on during difficult times. Your focus on putting customers first and supporting communities is something I genuinely respect. I'm motivated by the opportunity to build relationships with customers, help solve problems, and provide reassurance when it matters most. I also know that State Farm values teamwork, integrity, and continuous improvement, and those are qualities I believe I can bring. If I am successful, I'll represent your company professionally, work hard to deliver excellent service, and be someone you can rely on to contribute positively to the team. This kind of answer does three things. It shows you've done your research, it shows you care about the company's values, and it positions you as someone who will add real value to the team. State Farm style interview question number 3 is tell us about a time when you had to handle a difficult situation with a customer. This is what's known as a behavioural interview question. They're testing how you've behaved in the past because it's usually a good predictor of how you'll behave in the future. Now, the best way to answer any kind of behavioural interview question, including this one, is to use the STARR method, STARR, and it stands for this. So you start off with S for situation, and you briefly set the scene, describe what the situation was you found yourself in. You then move on to T for task, and explain what your responsibility was in that situation. You then move on to A for action, and describe the specific steps that you took. The first R is for result. You share the positive outcome. What was the result of your action? Make sure it is always a positive outcome. And the final R is for reflection. This is the part most candidates miss. Reflection means tying your experience back to the skills, values, or qualities State Farm looks for, like customer focus, patience, or professionalism. If you use all 5 steps in your answer, you will sound structured, clear, and it will highlight exactly what the interviewer is looking for. Here is a top scoring example answer you can use as a guide. Here we go. In my previous job, a customer called in very upset because their order had been delayed and they felt they hadn't been kept informed. My task was to resolve the issue quickly while making sure the customer felt listened to and valued. I started by letting the customer explain the situation fully without interrupting. I apologised sincerely for the delay and then reassured them that I would take ownership of the issue. I contacted our supplier immediately, arranged for the order to be prioritised, and kept the customer updated throughout the day. As a result, the order was delivered the very next morning. The customer thanked me for the way I handled the situation and later left positive feedback mentioning my name. Reflecting on this, I learned how important it is to stay calm, take ownership, and communicate clearly in difficult situations. These are qualities that I know are essential at State Farm because customers often contact you at stressful times when they really need reassurance and support. That final reflection is powerful because it links your past experience directly to the values and expectations of a State Farm employee. State Farm style interview question number 4 is, can you describe a difficult teamwork experience? Now, this question is designed to test 2 things. Number 1, how you behave when working with others under pressure. Number 2, whether you can resolve conflict or challenges in a professional and constructive way. A lot of candidates go wrong here. They either blame the other person too much, which makes them look difficult to work with, or they avoid the question altogether by saying, I've never had a difficult teamwork experience. That's not what the interviewer wants to hear. They know every team faces challenges. What matters is how you handled it. The best way to structure your answer again is to use that STAR method, STAR, situation, task, action, result, reflection. Here's a strong example answer that you could give. In a previous role, I was part of a small team working on a project with a very tight deadline. One of my colleagues and I disagreed on the best approach, and the tension was starting to affect the rest of the team. My task was to make sure we still delivered high quality work on time without letting the disagreement hold us back. I suggested we sit down together, discuss both of our ideas, and focus on the overall goal rather than personal preferences. I listened to their point of view, explained my reasoning calmly, and then proposed a compromise that combined the strongest parts of both approaches. As a result, we were able to move forward quickly, meet the deadline, and the project was a success. My manager later said she appreciated the way that I helped resolve the situation and kept the team focused. Reflecting on this, I learned how important it is to communicate openly, listen with respect, and keep the bigger picture in mind. These are qualities I would bring to teamwork at State Farm, where collaboration and putting the customers first are always the top priorities. Notice how the reflection not only closes the story, but also aligns directly with State Farm's values. That's what makes it a top scoring answer. So those were 4 of just some of the most common State Farm interview questions and some powerful example answers to help you prepare. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. Tell me about yourself, using the SEAT method to structure your response. We then looked at why do you want to work for State Farm, showing that you've done your research and you share the company's values. We then looked at tell us about a time you had to handle a difficult situation with a customer using that STARR method and linking back to customer focus. And then we looked at another behavioural interview question. Can you describe a difficult teamwork experience which proves you can communicate, compromise, and keep the team moving forward? Now, if you prepare answers to these questions in advance, you'll walk into your interview with confidence and stand out from the competition. But if you want to take your preparation even further, I highly recommend you get a copy of my State Farm style interview questions and answers pack. Inside, you'll find 25 of the most common interview questions and sample answers, plus insider tips to help you pass your interview at the very first attempt. Most candidates will only prepare for a handful of questions. If you prepare all 25 from my pack, you'll be way ahead of the competition. You can download it instantly by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of this video right now or in the pinned comment below. It includes the questions you're most likely to get asked and my proven example answers to those most commonly asked interview questions, tailored specifically for your State Farm style interview. Perfect for last minute quick win preparation. Plus, you'll also get access to our best-selling Ultimate Job Interview Training course for more in-depth training, which includes over 50 modules breaking down every common interview question, provides insider tips, a mock interview for you to try, and over 25 years of insider recruitment insight, guaranteed to make you the standout candidate at your interview. Now, before you go, please remember to do 3 things for me. Firstly, subscribe to the channel. I upload new interview training videos every week to help you succeed. Like this video, it really motivates me to create more free content for you. And finally, comment below and tell me what role you're applying for at State Farm. I'll give you some extra tips to help you prepare. Oh, and don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description below. I love connecting with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the very best with your State Farm interview. Go in with confidence and I'm sure you'll do great. You've got this.